Fascism is here! I've been hearing that my entire life. When W was elected, when he passed the Patriot Act, when he declared war in Iraq, when Obama was elected, then became the droner-in-chief and crushed the Occupy Wall Street and Standing Rock pipelines and oversaw a fracking boom all over the country. When Trump was elected and passed the Muslim ban, when Roe v. Wade was overturned under Biden, when Biden started sending billions of dollars to fund a genocide. At all those points, we said, fascism is here, and we were right. And fascism has also been here since, the country was founded on the genocide of indigenous peoples and the enslavement of Black Africans. Fascism is not an end state. It's not like a virus, like the flu, where you either have it or you don't. On-off switch. Fascism is more like a cancer that affects every single nation state in the world because the concept of a nation state itself is inherently fascistic. And your nation state may have more or less of the fascism cancer than others, or depending on who you are in that society, you may be experiencing a lot more of the fascism than other people, depending on things like your race and class and gender. And like a cancer, fascism can only do one thing, which is grow. That's its tendency. It's going to get worse and worse and worse unless the people can implement successful interventions to shrink it and control it. And in the United States of America, throughout my entire lifetime, the vast majority of people that I know have really just been sticking to one intervention against fascism, red or blue, and that's been voting for their preferred candidate. The Republicans that I've known believe the Democrats are responsible for fascism, so they've been voting for Republicans. And the Democrats that I know believe Republicans are responsible for fascism, and so they've been voting for Democrats. And that's pretty much what the vast majority of people, that's the A to Z of their political engagement. But it turns out that relying on voting to cure your country's fascism is about as effective as relying on crystal healing to cure your cancer. So what types of interventions have worked historically? Well, I've written a book about fascism and genocide, and from what I've read and can tell you, and what I can tell you is maybe not what you're going to want to hear. Resistance to fascism that is effective almost always is going to come from the people, not from elites, not from institutions. So no one is coming to save you. It's up to us. And the types of things we need to do will require great courage, great risk, and great personal sacrifice. Who promised you that fighting the Nazis was going to be easy? Where did so many people get that idea? And again, speaking historically, this kind of resistance has been illegal because in a fascist society, fascists define what the law is, and so resisting fascism necessitates doing illegal things historically. And that's something I think the vast majority of Americans who've been counting on the crystal healing of voting to save themselves from fascism are a very far way away from confronting. But people were saying on my video yesterday, Sim, now is the scariest our country has ever been. How can you be expecting people to be brave now when it's scarier now than it's ever been? Yeah, this is the scariest summer of our lives. But the way fascism works is it's also going to be the least scary summer of the rest of our lives unless we can halt fascism in its tracks. Very similarly to climate change, which is linked to fascism and all these isms, this summer will be the hottest summer the world has ever seen, and it'll also be the coldest summer of the rest of our lives unless we can halt or maybe even reverse climate change, which we cannot possibly do if we can't get rid of fascism. We got our work cut out for us, guys. You think things are going to be bad now? If we just stay silent and let Trump do what he wants to do, things are going to be 1,000 times scarier next summer. Fascism will get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the end state of it looks something like total destruction and devastation. It looks like Gaza. And if you go outside your house in the United States of America and you might see trees or birds singing or cars driving on roads and ambulances functioning, and you're not seeing rivers of blood and people crushed by rubble screaming for help that's never coming while people dig through the rubble with their hands and are getting shot at by armed quadcopters. If you're not seeing that, you can see we've got a long way to go towards end state terminal fascism. But if we don't resist now, bet, we're gonna get there. That's where fascism goes. It can't stop itself. So how do you find the courage? Well, I have found that courage is a practice. It gets easier over time. I'm so much more courageous now than I was on October 7th. I got braver over the course of writing this book. And since I turned in the pages for it, the day I turned in the pages, I was a wreck with anxiety over the book's release. But those things that were worrying me and scaring me then, now, even a few months later, I'm like, bring it fucking on, because courage is a practice. You get better at it over time. But the first thing you have to do is decide you want to be a courageous person. You got to meditate on that. Do you want to meet this moment? Do you want to be someone who fights and who is brave? Or do you want to be a passive Nazi who prioritizes their own comfort as the people around them are tortured and disappeared and killed? Like, if you don't want to be brave, I can't help you. It's like quitting an addiction. Like, the desire to change has to come from within. Once you've made that decision to be brave, where do you start? Well, the first thing I tell everyone to do is get connected. Join up with some other people that are doing anti-imperial work. Maybe that's PYM, maybe it's DSA, maybe it's Food Not Bombs. You're housing people in your community. You're joining a group that's focused on immigrants' rights. You're driving people to their abortion. Join with others. Don't just do things on your own. The first courageous thing you have to do is meet other people and get to know them and be in community with them, other people who are committed to anti-fascism. Because two people working together are impactful so much more than the sum of their individual efforts alone. A group project I've been working on is this book. I've been working on it with a Palestinian editor, a Palestinian publisher, Palestinian fact checkers and scholars. And now I'm working on it with booksellers and with amazing collaborators at these events on my book tour that are coming to maybe a city near you. And that's something I'm actively practicing getting more courageous at, is actually going out and meeting y'all in person and not just talking to you from my phone or the pages of a book. So Sunday, May 4th, I'm going to be in Somerville, Massachusetts, right outside Boston. I'm going to be talking with Aaron Axelman, one of the directors of Israelism. Come out, Boston people. Monday, May 5th, I'll be in Brooklyn, New York, talking with the amazing author, graphic novelist, activist Haneen Oricott. Both of those events, you can either just get the tickets alone, or you can get a ticket that comes with a book. Or if you've already pre-ordered the book, you're welcome to bring the book to the event, and there will be signings after both of those events. Come by and say hey. Links to get those tickets are in my bio. And finally, I just want to say, on yesterday's video about the similar topic, so many people left me messages about the things that they have been doing, the ways they've been finding courage, the things they've been sacrificing, the way they've been spreading the word about genocide bad. And that whole comment section is so heartening. And if you didn't get a chance to comment there, tell me today, what are you doing? How are you finding courage? How are you taking risks? I love hearing about it. It is so good for the soul. And to all of you, I love you. You're amazing. You're my mashpacha.